The Z-Files is on the road at Warriors Hall, one of the best investments our city has made over recent years. The George Whitehurst building officially, but you have the police department in one part of it where once there were Sunday school classrooms for a church that was in here. And actually, historically, that's the thing we got to work on, Brian, is getting the total history of this building back when this was railroad property. The the Yellow River Railroad had a switching Y right back behind this building. Now this is all part of the Spanish Trail Park complex, we'll say. The reason we're here, and I'm going to talk with investigator Ralph Garrett about a unique thing that some of our Crestview Police Department members and volunteers and supporters are doing, going caroling. And so you're going to pull up at somebody's house with flashing blue lights and all this stuff when this happens. Is this right?
I don't know about the blue lights, but we'll be there when they ask us to show up.
Okay. How did this get started?
Commander Snyder, actually, and Officer Rawls actually came up with the idea, and it just sort of grew from there.
And so you've been rehearsing, I guess, here for a little while. How many total people have you got that will be participating? And I know you're going to be adding people, I guess, even from this rehearsal. This was your second time to get together as a group and do some rehearsing?
The second time today. We're missing like half. We're probably at maybe 14 people.
Okay.
All ready to sing.
Well, that's good. Now, several of you have some singing background in your lives, I understand. Tell us about yours.
Some of us. I've got about 6 years of music, mostly band, singing in the chorus, in the choirs at church, and we have some more that do the same thing.
Okay. Now, if somebody wants you all to come out on, I guess there's 3 days, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, something like that?
We begin on
4 days. They begin on the 19th, okay. And you can make visits to homes or visits to businesses. Now, up on the video screen for those who are seeing this on the Z-Files YouTube channel, you'll see the information on how you can do it. If you get the Z-Files newsletter, there's about 8,700 subscribers to that, then you'll see the information there. And again, how you can print out the actual form. I have it on there as a PDF. You can print it and fill it out. And there's also a phone number for contact information. But tell them the easiest way for somebody to find out more about this and to book a caroling at their home.
The best way would be call Andrew Snyder at the Crestview Police Department.
Okay. He's helping to coordinate it.
Yes.
And so the idea is that you'll come to somebody's home, sing about a 5 or 10 minute caroling session for them, and then you got to get somewhere else for the next half-hour cycle.
The schedule is filling up very quickly. It's $50 for a home, $100 for a business, and we spend 5 to 10 minutes of singing and spreading joy.
Well, great. So caroling is an old tradition in our world, not just in the United States, but way back to the days, I'm sure, in Europe. So it's a great tradition to have, and a unique thing is to have folks. Now, will you be in uniform or just be dressed up like your folks going somewhere to a Christmas party? Have you decided?
Be in full uniform, dress uniform.
Oh, wow.
I think we're going to wear blue hats, Santa hats, I believe. Okay. So I was told that a while ago, so we'll be in hats too.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Well, folks, if you want to have the law enforcement, now what is the official name of this? Is it Constables Caroling or Caroling Constables or something?
I have no idea what they're calling it. Here's one of my hats there. We'll be wearing them.
Okay, blue hats with a white trim.
I'm not sure what we're called.
Well, we'll find out from the official media release. Caroling Constables. That's a good name for it, because Constables is a proper old name for the law enforcement people.
Have a good time.
That's great. And spread joy.
And
have fun. Well, folks, you can do that, and you're going to hear me chat with a few more folks who are going to be part of the Caroling Constables. Right now, let's listen to and see, if you're watching this on the YouTube video, one of the numbers they were doing in rehearsal this morning.
Sleep in heavenly peace.
piano player for these group of choralers, and I understand we heard you chatting earlier. You're working on getting a smaller portable keyboard that you can actually take out as you go on the road. So this is Diane Tomlin, and of course I guess she comes along with, or brings along Reverend Harry Tomlin to help as well. Right?
Absolutely. We're a team. Whatever he does, I do. Whatever he does, I do.
Okay, fantastic. Now you're also involved in this kind of a support group that has been through the Crestview Police Academy. Tell me about that group.
Well, it's a group that we got together because we wanted to know more about what the police do, and we wanted to be helpful, like the eyes and ears in this community, to help our police, because there's only a few of them and there's a lot of us, and everybody sees things that need to be reported, and some people just don't have the nerve to do that, and we're the eyes and ears when they can't be there. And plus we want to bring good cheer to our community. This is our home. We want it safe. We want our police safe. As you see on the news every day, including this morning, police are being killed all over this country, and it's got to stop. And we are going to be the eyes and ears for our police force, and we want them to know we're behind them 100%. And that's why we are even here. We're raising money. Other than this benefit that we're doing this singing for is for the Ronald McDonald House and Sacred Heart Children's Hospital. Every dime that we make for this is going to them. But what the CCPAA does all the year is we're raising money for a fallen officer memorial for right here in Crestview, because we have lost so many of our own officers in this county, and it's time that we do something up here to honor them, and we just want to be a part of it.
Right, and I know in the police newsletter that Brian Hughes has started up is a very good historical report on Sheriff Wilson. That wasn't Ray, was his first name.
That was
Lester Wilson, and it was his son Ray who grew up to become the sheriff and solved the crime. Actually,
yes, he did. He solved his father's crime. I knew Ray Wilson personally. He was my father's dear friend and loved him till the day he died. He was a master for this county. He really brought a lot around, and we owe a lot to Ray Wilson and his dad. Right. But we got to stop this killing of our law enforcement officers in this country. We've got to stop it, and it might as well start right here.
Okay. Now, the Police Academy thing, any citizen, I guess every so often they'll be announced, and we have news stories when there's going to be one of those. And if you're interested, that's a good time to get into it.
And we can learn. Class starting in February, and they need to start calling here. They can call Wanda Julian here at the police department, or Sam Kimmons, and they'll give them the dates. I believe it starts in February, and it's only 10 Tuesday nights out of your year. And you'll come, you'll learn everything there is to know about this police department, about our law enforcement, our EMS, our fire department, how the records are kept. It's just amazing what we learn in 10 weeks. We learn how to solve crimes, what they do on a crime scene, and it's just been so helpful, and we just want to be a part to keep our community safe.
And then somewhere along the way, after people had been through this academy, you decided to create a group which is yours, that you're all of us that are doing these things in support of the law enforcement and Crestview Police.
That's why we're in the Alumni Association. I even went through it twice to get my best friend involved, and now she is our treasurer, Brenda Cadenhead. So I'm hoping all our group will bring somebody they know, and we need to get everybody involved in this Alumni Association. Together we can do everything, but one or two of us can't do a lot. But that's why we're out singing, bringing joy here at Christmas time. It is Jesus' birthday, and he deserves for us to go out and bring joy to those that maybe can't. A lot of shut-ins around here, a lot of nursing homes, and a lot of places we can go and bring some joy.
Great. So if somebody who is watching or hearing this or reading about it, of course, we hope that they'll call up the numbers that are it'll be on the screen that they can call. But if you want to give them, is there one particular phone number would be the most ideal that they could be calling?
There is. It's Marie Sacaro's number, and it's, help me over there, 901. Everything's in my phone. I don't know any numbers.
We'll have them that way.
Yeah. Hurry. 850-902-9171, and we will get you scheduled right away to come to your home or business, and we will schedule you today.
Okay, and they're all going to be out there in their
24 hours a day you can call us. We'll answer the phone.
Okay. And as I tell you, they're going to show up at your home or your business on these 4 days, the 19th, starting on the 19th of December, and to the 22nd.
Then we're going to Sacred Heart. Take it. What toys we have, we're taking to the children at Sacred Heart Hospital and Ronald McDonald House.
Well, great. So, folks, if you want to hear another number here, we will by the Caroling Constables or whatever right. Somebody like Brian Hughes probably came up. I'll bet Brian Hughes came up with that name.
Yeah, there's going to be about 15 of us. Today we had just a few practicing, but there will be 15, and they sound awesome.
It'll be fantastic, folks. Something you can set up right now for your home for the week before Christmas.
People are giving gifts to others by sending us in their name to somebody they love. So think about that. If there's somebody you want to give them a gift and you really don't know what to get them, give them us. We'll go sing to them.
And now let's hear some more of that Christmas music from the carolers for the Crestview Police Department. Now, Reverend Harry Tomlin, besides being a longtime pastor, is also a chaplain to the Crestview Police Department. And I gather in your work and church work, you do wind up singing a few songs every Sunday or quite often.
Yes, being a small church, the pastor is also the song leader.
Okay.
So I get my chance to do it more than I would really prefer to. I'd rather have my own song leader, but I've got a small church, so.
Okay. Now tell us about your getting involved in this caroling project.
I was volunteered.
Okay.
Diane always volunteers me for stuff.
They say.
I was voluntold to be part of it, but since Diane and I used to sing Southern gospel music, they figured bring the whole team in. So.
Okay. What do you think about this idea of taking this to people's homes and businesses this year?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's very good and get us in more visible.
Okay.
Get visible to the good side of the cops instead of the bad side.
Yeah. Now, as a chaplain to a police department, what does that involve doing?
Well, we're there to provide the emotional and spiritual care for the officers. Also, if a situation arises that we're needed help in a family situation, and we're also trained that we can go in and do the spiritual care. We have good listening ears. I always say I've got broad shoulders and big ears, and I can just listen. A lot of people, it helps just to talk. Mm-hmm. And we just got to give them the opportunity to talk.
Yeah, I think probably the most dangerous police call an officer ever gets is something happening, a domestic situation, and sometimes the calming help of somebody like what you're doing, and Reverend Broadhead and others who help with this, that it can make a difference.
Yes, it is. And also, like I said, we have the opportunity to ride along with the officers, and if they want to talk about something, it's between us. What they say to me doesn't go anywhere but to me.
That sounds great. And of course, the real thing, we're doing this, and we come up and you're going to see and hear if you're listening on the radio on Saturday morning on the Z Files some of the songs, but you'll be doing about a 5 or 6, 7, 8 minute set of music at each place you go.
That's what I've been told. So,
okay.
And so have been in the business, it could depends on which songs we sing, because we have a large repertoire of songs, but we're only going to sing a few, so some of the songs are longer, so we may sing 3 songs or we may sing 4 songs. We try to fill in the time frame.
And of course, rather than the traditional chicken for the pastor on Sunday afternoon, it'll probably be cookies and hot cocoa and things like that they may be treating you with as you go from place to place. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, we appreciate that. Just like, being formerly a Southern Baptist preacher, they said, you say Southern Baptist preacher and you say fried chicken, and, we come running. So.
Well, folks, right now they'll come to your house with the whole group to sing carols for you or come to your business. So call the phone number that's up on the screen and give them a chance to come carol at your house or at your business. Now we're going to talk with Marie Sicaro. She is the president of this Crestview Police Department Association, a group that has been now a support group, the Citizens Police Academy alumni, I believe, right?
Yes, exactly. We are supporting the fundraising for such as this event is going to go to Sacred Heart Hospital, the Ronald McDonald House. The other events have gone for the Fallen Officer Memorial. So now it's the season to give back, so we have them singing their hearts out and making money for the children of Crestview and the surrounding areas.
So what do you think of all these folks who have decided to come out and enjoy? Because everybody can sing Christmas carols, even some of us guys that can't carry a tune in a in a box car, but we can still enjoy hearing it then.
I think it's fabulous because, not like you said, not everybody sings. These guys are going to do it a cappella, and they're going to come to your home or they're going to come to your business, and they're going to put it all out there because they're all about the children and giving back. And for the police department to make that time is fabulous. And it's a first, so everybody can be part of history. I think it's great.
Okay. Now, if somebody wants to also get into the next academy, what can they do to be involved in that? And tell them a little bit about what the academy actually is all about.
Okay, if you want to get into the next academy, it usually starts by the end of February. They would contact Officer Wanda Hewlin or Officer Sam Kimmin. It's every Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 9. It goes for 10 weeks, and what it does, it gives you the insight of about the police department, the first responders, the fire department, the judges, judicial system, the state's attorney. It's a lot of information that if you watch TV, you're going to find out that NCIS isn't really what it's brought up to be. So it's getting facts and asking the questions that you may have and finding out the truth. They do actual crime scene. They show them how to do investigations. They go out to the range and learn how to shoot with Commander Schneider. So it's fabulous. It's a real good information course.
Okay, well, folks, you'll be hearing more about that as well. Right now, the important thing is for you to, after you've heard this or watched this, to say, I'd like to have them to come to my business or the place where I work or to our home, or we want to send you to a family or a friend's home.
02-9171, and it's tax deductible. They just ask for Marie Sicaro, and I will sign you up. I'm ready. I have a pen in hand.
Okay, so give that phone call or jingle, folks, and let's see if you can schedule the caroling cops, the Cops Corral. See, the phone is ringing already. Somebody called. They wanted to book the Cops Corral to come for a Christmas caroling event. Maria, great project, and good job your folks are doing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming out and listening to them today.
Now, among the members of the Cops Corral for the Crestview Police Department, or as Brian Hughes calls it, Crestview'S Caroling Constabulary. Hey, I finally got it right. We're going to talk to a master sergeant with the United States Air Force, Andra Chase. And how did you get involved being in the Air Force in this program with the Crestview Police Department?
Well, I've been in the Air Force for almost 20 years now, but as far as this goes, when I got stationed out here, I heard about the alumni class, and I came out here and learned all about it for the 10 weeks.
Okay.
And then we created the CCPAA, and I basically just like volunteering and helping out and raising funds for whatever we're doing at that time.
So you've been in probably a lot of different communities and different bases for the Air Force.
Yes, sir. Yep, definitely. This is my 5th base, so.
And out of all of those 5, how do you rank the Eglin area and this area in Crestview and Okaloosa County to all the others?
Well, it's an easy because the views and everything there, everywhere you go, and there's a lot of military support, so that's really great and stuff. So I would say it's the best one that I've been at so far.
What kind of duties do you have when you're at your day job, as we say?
Bossing people around. I'm at that pay grade now, so basically just leadership and watching over the guys and making sure certain things are getting taken care of and stuff. So I work on the flight line side, so the flying the aircraft.
You out there near the F-35s?
No, I'm over on the F-16s and F-15 side. So, but we hear it all. They're pretty loud.
Yes.
So there you go.
You can't miss one when they're taking off out there without any doubt. Well, you know, it's a great thing, all because of a couple of guys way back in our history. One heard this airplane down here, and a fellow named Plew, and I got the pleasure of knowing one of his grandchildren, Mr. Walt Rucko Jr., and he would tell me a lot of stories about Grandpa Plew and the things that happened. And if it weren't for that, for those guys, we wouldn't be doing what we do, and this county would still be raising timber, I'm part of.
Well, I was asked to come out and help out with the singing and going around to homes and businesses and efforts to raise money for the Ronald McDonald's house out there at Sacred Heart, and thought it was a great idea, and it's a good way to show the law enforcement how they're also always reaching out and doing things in return, not to mention risking their lives every day to protect us. So I thought it was a great idea to come along and do it.
Well, great. Well, we hope that you'll be out there, and maybe some folks will be watching you come out there, everybody all dressed up. Now, those who are the volunteers who are not sworn officers in the department, what will they be wearing on this caroling event?
Well, we have our committee shirts, which are the blue shirts with our CCPAA patch, and that's what we'll be wearing, one of those, and black slacks to kind of match up with the officers' blues, and then we'll be wearing our Santa hats, the blue ones. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, we look forward to seeing what you all do. We've enjoyed watching you rehearse up here for your rehearsal time, and hope that a lot of you folks who are hearing or watching this are going to call up right away and say, we want to book them. So it might even get so much that, who knows, they might have to book another day or whatever, depending how the booking. I understand they're already doing pretty good.
Yes, sir, we're doing very good. It's pretty much filling up really fast, been getting a lot of phone calls.
Now, as we wrap up this visit with members of the corralling cops, the cops are going to come around, and some of the volunteers from the police academy, and do Christmas carols either at your home or your business. I want to talk to a guy that's he's had 2 definite career changes, all because of a hurricane named Katrina, I think, is really brought all this about. And we're talking with Brian Hughes. Many of you folks, of course, would know his byline from the newspapers. He still managed to find a way to keep bylines in the newspapers, I've discovered, too. But you came here right after, I believe, after Katrina, and wound up with the Bulletin and the newspaper, and now you're with the police department as their information officer. How has that change of life been for you?
It's not been as entirely big a change as I would have thought it would have been. It's pretty much doing the same thing, except now I just do it for one organization instead of covering the whole town. It's kind of fascinating because I've covered so many stories from the police department ever since I started with the paper, which was 2007. And now I'm just seeing a lot more of how it works on the inside, and also can see sometimes why it was frustrating when I was on the other side, trying to get information that we can't always release because, you know, it's an active investigation. There's people who haven't been, you know, some bad guys out there we don't want to tip off. So it's fascinating to see both sides of it now, but you know, it's still fun because I'm giving something to the community that I'm able to do. I love it. And
you and I both have watched the metamorphosis or the major change to this law enforcement agency here in this community over these years.
And we have both seen it because we've been let through the doors before, and I think when we walk the hallways now, it's just amazing. There's, I don't know, it's kind of a cliche to say a spring in everybody's step, but Chief Taylor has really been a fantastic thing. And I say this not just because he's my boss, but because I had seen what was happening in the department once he took over, and you could see kind of this weight lifted from the officers and everybody's shoulders over here. And he has really liberated them to do their jobs, to do what they are hired to do without having to constantly, well, you know, the problems that they had under the other administration. It's a very exciting time here at the police department.
And actually, I would say the department has matured greatly, even from 2003 when I came here. You know, it was typical country, small-town kind of law agency. It was what I used to call hip pocket government, so to speak. Now it is gone to the professional area, and the certification certainly points that out, because all the work, and now you're going to see now what it takes to keep that certification as you're doing your new job.
I am seeing it in the works. We exceed state standards in so many areas. Just to get accredited, you have to exceed state standards. But there's discussion of the chief would like to have a firing range for the city. We don't have our own range, and we share a range with Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, with whom we have a great cooperation. But sometimes, because there's so many people sharing that range from other law enforcement agencies and correction agencies, it's hard to schedule our guys in there. And this is just one of the things the chief is trying to do to get us the facilities that we need, so our officers are able to not just be certified, which the state requires every 2 years. They want our guys to exceed the certification. And when the guys say, well, how come I have to do this, once or twice a year, when the state says I only need to do it every 2 years, the chief has some simple responses, the big one being Orlando and some of these other cities where there's just been these horrible problems, where our officers need to have this expertise and they need to maintain that proficiency.
Right. We're going to have an interesting time we're going to be able to participate in. I'm going to guess now it's going to be January before they're ready to turn over the old courthouse for a whole weekend of active shooter training and exercise that's been talked about, both for the fire and for everybody to have a chance to use that great big building. And like Chief Trader says, be able to haul hoses all the way up to the second and up into the back corners, and for the law enforcement to do whatever they want to do, because the power's going to be turned out. They'll be in the dark when they're in there at night, so it'll be a great training weekend and quite a bit of good news.
I think so. It's not often you get a facility like that where you can go in and do the stuff you really need to do. And, honestly, we don't have something like that in Crestview, but, well, we do now.
So we get a chance to use this number 2 courthouse before it's gone and number 3 starts construction. While we're standing in this position, you can see behind me, and in the other interviews, you saw flags on the wall here of Warriors Hall. And Brian, you had a lot involved in that with members of the Friends of the Arts here in Crestview to do this. Tell us about the flag display, why it's here, and what it means.
It means an awful lot to a lot of people. It actually touches everybody in the community. And I think that's kind of special, whether you're an historian or whether you have you are in one of the branches of the military, or if you have family members who are veterans. Warriors Hall, of course, was named for our veterans, for our active duty personnel. And this was actually an idea that Chief Joe Traylor of the fire department brought up when the city council first acquired the building. And he said, we ought to get some flags in there of the different military branches. And I got to thinking about that, and I realized, there's 6 branches of the military. We count, of course, the Merchant Marine, which Congress recognized as a distinct branch, I think last year or year before. And then to counterbalance that, on the east side of the hall, there's also 6 historic flags that hung over Crestview in the course of its history, or the area we call Crestview, or would have hung there if somebody had thought to raise a flag. So it balanced out perfectly. On one side you have this tribute to our military, and on the other side you have this tribute to our heritage. And it's like a little history lesson to walk in here, because you look underneath and you find out when, say, the Merchant Marine was instituted, when the Republic of South Florida, which was a flag that you graciously donated, when that flag would have flown over the Crestview area too. So
what was it? The Republic of West Florida, it was called.
Right.
And which was really a big chunk that we even went up in Alabama and parts of Mississippi.
And Louisiana. Its Capitol building is still standing in St. Francisville, Louisiana. A little nondescript square concrete building. That was the Capitol building. But the cool thing about we shouldn't give it away. We should make folks come in here and read the history. But the Republic of West Florida lasted for, I think, less than 3 months. Yeah. It was a real interesting history. It was that little chunk that was not covered by the Louisiana Purchase. So when the U.S. bought the Louisiana Purchase, it got that wonderful great swath of the heartland of America, except for this little smidgen from about here to the east Bank of the Mississippi, kind of doodled its way through several states. And these folks are saying, hey, wait a minute, we want to be part of the U.S., which is why they declared themselves a republic. And that's what perked up the ears in Washington, D.C. and said, hey, wait a minute, we can't have a republic within our boundaries. We better take care of that, which is exactly what the folks in West Florida wanted. And by December of, I forget the year, 18-something, they were part of the U.S., which is what they wanted all along.
And then they gave up some of the land so it could become Alabama and Mississippi, whatever. Well, Brian, this is a great thing in here. And, of course, I know you're enjoying your work now with the Crestview Police Department.
That I am certainly loving it. And this Cops Corral thing, we were talking a little earlier about the morale in the building. This is the sort of thing that now that the officers are kind of liberated to do their jobs, they're also liberated to concentrate on the community a lot more, I think. And this... two officers, Andrew Schneider and Chase Rawls, who both have singing backgrounds. Chase was in a gospel chorus that traveled around for several years. They were talking it'd be cool to put together, just a group of carolers. And I came up with the name just so I could write the press release, the Cops Corral. And you'll notice I don't put anything about caroling in that because who knows, maybe we might want them to come out and perform when we do the Law Enforcement Memorial in May, other opportunities. And the folks from the Crestview Community Police Academy Alumni Association were immediately on board with the idea. And as they've told you before, we have 14 or 15 active duty officers. We have the police chaplains, we have investigators, and we have alumni from the police academy who all immediately jumped on the chance to do this. And then I had to coin the Crestview'S Caroling Constabulary. I think that's what I called it. all for purposes of publicity. Sure. But they're just having so much fun doing it. Today was their second rehearsal, and they're starting to get their groove, as it were. And I should have been here Tuesday morning when they were kind of tumbling all over each other. But they're having such a good time doing this, and it's really going to be a wonderful thing, not just for the community, because we pointed out $50 they'll sing at a residence, $100 they'll sing for an organization or a business, but every last penny of all that goes to Ronald McDonald House and goes to Children's Hospital at Sacred Heart. And that's a cause near and dear to many people in Crestview, because our own Drew Bearfield is a state ambassador for Children's Hospital, where he spent many weeks recuperating. So you see kids like Drew doing so well and up and running around and walking and active in school. He's in the band. And it's because of people like these police officers who gave their time and gave their money to help really build that incredible medical institution just for kids. So on their last day of caroling, they'll carol in the morning, and that afternoon they are going to take the money and they're going to take a bunch of gifts that were raised by another Crestview Police volunteer organization, the Cops for Kids, and they're going to take some of those gifts over so that every child who's going to have to be in Children's Hospital over Christmas will actually get presents from Crestview police officers. Really cool.
Really good. Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed this visit on the Z-Files on the road, and that maybe you'll pick up that phone and you'll make the phone call and schedule some cops to come corral your home again, some family member, or even do a business you work in. And that can be a government. I know that the mayor's already booked a whole hour over the entire city hall for one of the days they're going to be doing that.
Yep, they'll be over there. And remember, it's also tax deductible.
It's a 501(c)(3).
Yep, the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association is handling the administration of this for us. So there's no taxpayer dollars involved, and that's how we're able to take all of that money and put it directly into the children. And also how people who are generous and hire our caroling constabulary will be able to write that off on their taxes for this year.
Good. Folks, make a cop come to your house for something good, to sing some Christmas carols for your family or to your business.
And for even more money, you can pay me not to come sing.